So, welcome to the Teaching Genius podcast with your host,
Egypt.
and your co-host, Daddy Raheem. All right. And today we have a special guest, all right?
Which is my teacher, Miss Goldberg.
I'm so happy to be here.
All right.
Okay.
So, today is very special because we have Egypt's second grade teacher, all right?
Yes.
And she agreed to join us after so much begging from Miss Egypt because she just loves her students. Right, all right. So we're gonna get right into it. Go ahead, ask your first
Okay,
question.
so my first question is, how long have you been a teacher?
Well, that is a great question. I have been a teacher. This is my 9th year as a teacher. I taught for 2 years at a charter school in Minnesota, in North Minneapolis. In Minnesota, I taught 3rd graders, and it was a charter school for East African students. So I had an East African student population. And then I moved out to New York, where I got my job at Success Academy. So this is my 7th year here. And I've taught 2nd grade and 1st grade.
So do you prefer the snow?
I don't prefer the snow, and I do prefer the people.
Okay.
Much nicer people in Minnesota.
Hey, New Yorkers are not that bad, man. New Yorkers are not that bad. We get a bad rap, but we are not that bad. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think
We just-
it's like
in a
when
rush.
you get to know New Yorkers, like everyone, when you get to know people there, everyone is the same. It's just like that, how you act around people that you don't know,
Right.
store clerks, like people on the street. That's
Right.
the only difference.
Right. A New Yorker is definitely not comfortable with you looking, talking, or speaking to them.
Yes, I learned that the hard way. Yes. Yes, I really truly did.
Yeah, those are.
Yeah.
Okay, so my second question is, what is your favorite thing about your career?
My favorite thing about my career is definitely the relationships that I build with my students, like you and your families. Like those relationships are everything to me. Some days when everything else about my career I don't like, that's what gets me through, is that just you guys and your families. And I know that, you're counting on me, and that I just want to make sure that I live up to, being the best I can be for you guys. That's definitely, without a doubt, no questions, my favorite part about teaching.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
beautiful.
nice. Okay, so my third question is, what is one thing you would change in the educate system if you were in charge?
Just one.
Yeah, just one. That's just how the script is. If you want to give me two, you can.
Oh God, there is so much. I think our education system needs a complete renovation, like bottom from the very core out. It's just like everything I think needs to change. I think our education system is based on an education system that our country created over 100 years ago, and
1930s.
it hasn't changed. I mean, it's pretty embarrassing. I think that if I were to change one thing, it would be, I would change how our public schools create the borders and for who goes to what school, and how they determine funding for schools. I think it's very segregated. It creates just a huge disparity between students being able to get an equal education. And I think until we change how schools are funded and who goes to what school, that nothing else, that's the number one. If I had to pick one, that's what I would choose. I guess that's two.
So let me ask you a question on that, right? So, all right, you said that you started in a charter school, right?
Mhm.
So do you feel like, based on maybe some of the conversations that you have with different peers, that there's a difference in that public school relationship with the children and the students versus a charter school? Because my kids have only gone to a charter school, thank God. So I don't really know too much of a difference, but I definitely can tell you the way that success handles things is extremely way more proactive than I've ever seen in my life.
Well,
Like,
that is 100% true.
right. Like the days
They're
that we miss
extremely
school
proactive.
and you guys call us 6, 7 times, you know, it's a beautiful thing because I could just imagine worst case scenario, something happened. They were supposed to be at school that day. They got on the bus. They never made it off or something of that nature. You know what I mean? There's so many hours that would have gone by in a public school that doesn't exist in as success because, okay, it's 8:15. Hey, what's going on? Just checking.
No, that is true. I think there's a lot that Success Academy does that I think is amazing. There's a lot that I disagree with, that I don't think is amazing educationally, like as far as my educational beliefs and philosophy go. But I think the communication side of it that you get couldn't be compared to a public school. I mean, it's just zero comparison, because well, I mean, I think it really barrels down to like that public school teachers are in a union and charter school teachers are not in a union. So there's positives and negatives to that as well. You know, public school teachers are done at 2:20, like it's 2:20 and I'm leaving. Whereas a charter school teacher, I just got home at 6:45. You know, I got to school at 7. That's a 12-hour day. So, you know, I don't know what, you know, they're going to work us to our bones because that's they can. So, you know, it's a give and take. I think that the communication is amazing. I think that the accountability is amazing. I think it often in a lot of public schools, the administration is far removed. They're not supportive. We don't have that problem. Like if I need something from my administration, they're there instantly. You know, they're in our classroom every day. So I think that is amazing. I think
let me ask this then, right? So we both
I can
know
talk
that,
your ear off. Sorry, stop me.
no, you good. So we both know that the whole idea of school is kind of a 100-year-old thing that hasn't changed, right? And I think that the biggest thing that we noticed is we are teaching kids to take a test and pass a test, right? Which was great when they had factory jobs, right? But now we're in a space where these children have to be critical thinkers. They have to come up with how to solve problems that aren't even problems yet, right? So my question to you is, right, you've helped develop a second grade author, right, who's an entrepreneur in her own right, very about her business, right,
Yeah.
right. And I just would love for you to give just a piece of that source that helps that you're working toward developing those type of children.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you said that in such an amazing way. I mean, you literally took the words out of my mouth. Like
I try.
What we're teaching in schools is so irrelevant. Why does any of this matter? Everything that we teach is in our kids' hands. So it's just completely obsolete. We don't prioritize problem solving, creative thinking, communication, working on a team, thinking outside the box, these things that actually matter in today's world, we just don't prioritize. I think for me, and where I find teaching to be the most challenging is that I find often that I'm just a hamster on a wheel, and I'm just in this massive system, and I feel so out of, like, I don't have any control. So I try my best to find where do I have control? Sorry, my dog. Well, where do I have control? And where can I tweak any little opportunity to put in a little bit of fun, creative thinking, a little bit of individuality, a little bit of more freedom for the kids? It's hard because we're structured, you know? But I just try to just like think about what is going to matter at the end of all of this, you know? Right. This test is this child will never remember this test. It is not going to matter. They won't remember any of the content, you know.
Right.
What are they going to take away?
Right. The beautiful thing is, like, that got exposed a couple years ago. I don't know if you remember the show. You probably were too young. I used to have a show called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Of course I remember. Yeah.
And it just, who was the president of
Yeah.
the school academy at, and you like, we really learned that? Like, you sure we learned that?
Don't remember at all. Not even one bit. It's amazing what I mean. Exactly. What does
Right.
it matter? What does
Right.
it matter?
Right. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I think, oh yeah, so I think it's my fourth question.
All right, what you
Is
got?
that, can you tell me two of your fondest memories while working with your students?
Oh, two now? It's two now?
No, it's actually three now. Because I know everybody's telling me that there's just too many. They're just telling me like, oh my gosh, there's so many.
Okay.
So I'm choosing
Well,
three.
that's such a hard question because there's so many. The one that just pops into my brain at this moment, well, in being at Success for 7 years, my students, I have students in 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade, 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade. So it's really fun for me to get to see them grow into people. So I think one of my fondest memories or moments is just getting to see my old students each day in the hallway, and then the love that they still have for me. It is such a special thing. Like, you remember Egypt, didn't we? Like, we see them in the hall all the time. I got married, so you see
and
Miss
they're
Schwartz, and
saying,
they're always
"I
like,
do."
Miss Schwartz. And so that's definitely like one of my fondest memories. Oh my God. Every year,
Look, you know you gotta add Egypt to one, right?
well, of course I do. And well, my next memory is one Egypt that you can look forward to at the end of the year. We do like a balloon activity where the kids get to throw balloons at us, water balloons.
Seems
And
very mean and fun at the same time.
it is very mean and fun at the same time. You couldn't be more right. But I feel that I work them so hard all year that they just deserve to just throw some balloons at me.
So do you guys get to do this with the administrative staff? I feel like the principal should be like front and center,
That's a good
and then the
point.
teachers should get to throw.
Well, we should get to, yeah, that is a really good point.
Yeah, you know, I think we're going to have to add that to the PC calendar.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up. I'm gonna bring that up at our next staff meeting for sure.
Yeah, I would get some help though. I'll make sure you get a couple people around you that agree, and then y'all kind of say it together, so it's not like it's a you thing.
And maybe, yeah, and then I need like you to come like with that strong arm, you know.
I
I'm
got
that.
you. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a little unbalanced. All right.
Okay, so my last question,
Okay.
the final one of them all is, what advice would you give to your younger self when you were training to be a teacher or for this field?
It's kind of sad. I would say get out. Don't do it. I wouldn't tell myself not to do this. I don't know. I guess like remember my core value, remember why I got, remember that core values, what really matters. I struggled a lot as a student, and I got into teaching because I wanted to help kids who struggle. So like, I think that like keeping what matters at heart and trying to block out the stress and the nonsense, and not let it weigh me down. Sorry.
Okay, so let me ask you.
Wait. So
ahead.
are you trying to say like, don't like let all these hard things destroy you? Don't let that wave just push you away. Keep on trying. Is that what you're trying to say?
I couldn't have said it better myself, Egypt. It was just perfectly said. We should just let's write that on a bulletin board and put it up in our classroom. I'm serious.
I love it.
It's amazing advice. That's exactly what I want to tell myself. I have to tell myself that today, every day. I have to remember that.
So I know for people who are aspiring to do something that they've never done before, right? Whether it's a boxer and he has a championship fight, or it's an Olympic runner who's trying to, win a race. Usually I like sports, so I like to
I can
go.
tell.
But we do things throughout our day where we use motivation, right? So we use like motivational tools, whether it be a speaker that we like, music that we that could get us into that space, right? So do you feel like there's a need for consistent voice for you guys where some of it, as long, we can't stop a lot of the issues that come with Board of Ed, right? But at least if you had some motivational component to the start of your day, the end of your day, maybe the middle of your day, just a kind word, something to keep you going. Do you feel like that would help with some of the frustration and the what you need to keep the momentum?
Honestly, like I on Instagram, I follow like teacher groups, teacher podcast, like not just I don't know what they are, teacher accounts.
Support groups,
Yeah, and honestly, like it does give me a lot of what you're saying. Some of it is like funny stuff. It's like us all kind of commiserating, like one of the pops in my is called Teacher Misery, and like we just share like
yeah, I've seen that account.
Yeah, and it's just that camaraderie, I think, because as teachers, at Success in most classrooms, there's two adults, but mostly as teachers, like you're alone with kids all day. You don't see any adults, it's a pretty isolating career. With a career where there's so many millions, there's just so many of us. So I think that connectivity between teachers across the country is like so special, and it is motivating because it's like I'm not the only one fighting this fight. I'm not alone out here. Look at this teacher had this funny kid story to share that made me laugh, and I can share my, so I think honestly, like social media and technology and being able to connect in that way kind of does motivate me like that. It is relieving to know that I'm not alone,
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
All right. So we want to thank you. I hear your dog wrestling.
you.
I'm sure it's potty time probably.
My dogs are playing there.
My dog is literally just sitting in the cage and just
I gotta see her.
All right. So we want to thank you for your time. All right. And we want to say thank you to everybody out there listening. We appreciate you guys. All right. All right. Go ahead. Go get Linda.
Yeah, keep up with the fight out there. And thank you guys so much for having me. This was really special. And I'm just so proud of Egypt. What an amazing student. We have a special.
Guys.
Bye, you guys.